I don't know the exact number. You might know better than me, Grant. It's probably somewhere around 10,000 gutter installers from all over the world.
Just having a company that everybody knows what their function is so that they can do that, right? And then can start making some good money. All right. Good evening, everyone. Grant Hubbard again with another Gutter Growth podcast. Today I'm here with Austin Pellerito from Michigan Gutterman. He's the owner and trying not to be operator, who's become a good friend of mine over, I don't know, the past 8 months or so. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Hey, Grant, thanks so much for having me on the podcast. It's always just a pleasure speaking with you. We've had a lot of really great conversations here over the last year, and you've done nothing but put a lot of great wisdom into my brain. And it's always just humbling and refreshing every time I get to talk to you. So thanks so much for having me on, man.
That's pretty cool. I appreciate the kind words. Hi, this is Grant Hubbard with another Gutter Growth podcast for you. I want you to know that this podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, your exclusive premium guard option. Now enjoy the show. Hey, let's jump right into it. So, tell us just a little bit about your company and how long you've been in business.
So, I'm still a pretty young dude. I'm 31. When I was 19, I ended up getting my first job inside of trades,
Mm.
and I got a job as a rough carpenter. So I was with a company named Champion Construction, and we framed and built houses, kind of in fancier neighborhoods from the ground up. So we did a lot of woodwork. All the guys that I was working with, they were really skilled guys. We pretty much did the entire exterior of the home. So after
Okay.
we framed the house out, we were doing siding, we were bending all the flashing with the brake. They taught me how to use a brake. We put the roof up, we put the gutters up. We pretty much did the entire exterior. And I built a lot of houses with those guys. A little bit after that, I got into just doing roofing because I was making more money just as a roofer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the roofing company also did gutters. And I realized I got excited every time we had a chance to do gutters. And it was just a lot less labor, if I'm sitting up there with a shovel tearing a roof off. And
Right.
anyone who's ever done that know it's not really a lot of fun. And gutters, they're lightweight. It was just a breeze. It was always exciting every time we got to do this. Uh,
Very cool.
after after that job, I did a lot of bouncing around between ages 19 to 25. Uh, I got a job with 1-800 Hanson's as a gutter guy with them, and I
Really?
did some gutters with those guys for a while. I got a job with Leaf Filter, and I installed gutter guards with them.
Uh-huh.
And then I was actually going through kind of this is like an interesting story,
Mm-hmm.
almost like a spiritual story, if you want to say. I don't know if I've told you the story or not,
We'll bring it
but
on.
I was going through a tougher time in life. Forgot how old I was, but I was in my 20s, and I didn't have a job, and I was doing community service at the soup kitchen place
Okay.
voluntarily. I didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
do it, but I just felt like it was a good thing to do. And the owner of the place was talking to me, and he was like, "Austin, how's everything going?" And I was like, "Not so good. I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment. I owe a bunch of money. Life's been really tough lately." He's like, "Well, you should probably get out of here. Go get a job."
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, man. So I'm like sitting back, I'm thinking about where I should apply to go get a job or what company I'm gonna go work with. And I'm watching this guy named Bruce. He's the owner of this place. He's walking away from me, and I see him answer his phone, and he's kind of just like shaking his head, like, and I'm like, what's he doing? And then he walks back over to me, and he's looking at me, and he's like, Austin, this is the strangest thing. I said, what? He said, this guy just called my phone and wants to know if anyone here needs a job. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, no. He's like, you want to talk to him? Here. And he hands me the phone. So I answer the phone, and it's this guy named Mike. And Mike's like, yeah, I'll come pick you up in an hour. And I was like, okay. So I went outside and I started waiting for Mike to get there. Well, Mike was kind of like a handyman, and he had his own company, and he did gutter cleaning, he cut grass. We did like insulation jobs for people. We did a bunch of just odd jobs, and but he did a lot of gutter cleaning,
Okay.
and he mostly just kind of sat in the truck while I went up on the ladder and cleaned all the gutters. But I mean, I was watching this guy make, $1,000 a day just cleaning gutters, and he'd pay me like 250 for the day, and
Right.
it was nice or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm doing all the work, and like, I had no idea we could charge $300 for a house to clean some gutters. Like, this is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, this is
And
great.
so he ended up running out of work, and he kind of inspired me to start my own thing and start making money on the side myself. And that's what really got me into the business aspect of it, of starting my own company. Which shortly after meeting Mike, that's what I ended up doing. Is I started the
Beautiful.
company.
You jumped right on it.
Yeah, I named the company AU Services. I think I got a card here.
Do
Yeah,
you? Let's see.
yeah. So I don't know if they can see that.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Yeah,
So
thanks for sharing.
might be kind of blurry, but yeah,
How
we
long
named.
did you have that business for?
I think it was just a year or two. We had AU
Okay.
Services, and that
Mm-hmm.
was just me. I bought a really cheap pickup truck, like a 1999 GMC Sierra for $900, and I put a ladder rack on it. I bought like a $100 24-foot extension ladder, threw that on there,
Love
and
it.
I was off to the races with cleaning gutters. I made like, I don't even know, some ridiculous number of flyers, like 10,000 flyers or something.
Right.
And I was going door to door on the weekends, just passing them out or sticking them to doors.
Mm-hmm.
I got very little calls,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
or two calls here and there. I think they say off flyers, you get like 1% sometimes.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you have to do it right when you're opening your business. You have to do a lot of things that hopefully moving forward within, 6 months, the end of the year, the next season, you don't have to repeat, some of those big, big pushes to really get, your business off the ground. That's why we build these systems, right? And have these relationships that we do so that we don't have to put out 10,000 flyers and get, 3 calls from it.
yeah, man, like
So how much
so much has
longer?
changed since then.
So much has changed, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you had Michigan Gutterman?
So I think we're going on year number 5 or 6 since I first
Mm-hmm.
started AU Services. So
Mm-hmm.
we changed the name to Michigan Gutter Man because I started doing mostly all gutters. When I
Okay.
first started AU Services, I was kind of like just taking any job I could get. If you wanted me to power wash your house, you know, or plant some flowers, I didn't really care as
Mm-hmm.
long as a job was a job and I was making money. I was like, I'll just do
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
anything that's laborious outside. Uh, Shortly, it wasn't too long uh, after passing out the flyers, I got on Angie's List and Home Advisor, and I started getting paid leads for gutter cleaning, and that changed everything. That really set everything off quickly, and I started filling my calendar with gutter cleaning all day, every day. And
Michigan is a fabulous, your area is a fabulous, all there's so many different markets for gutter cleaning. And having worked all over the country, I'm really familiar, but Michigan is an awesome place for gutter clean outs. Our fall is one of the best, right? Like all the colors and stuff, and then just the amount of leaves and whatnot that fall up there. So
yeah,
you take
Michigan.
off you take off from there, right? You start picking up, filling up your calendar.
Yeah, like I think it was August when I first started AU
Hmm.
Services. So we were kind of approaching the fall season, the next month being September and October, shortly after I started the company. So yeah, I think the first one of the first leads I got off of Home Advisor was an apartment complex. I think it was like 14 buildings. I can't remember how many feet. I think it was like some big number, like 600 feet per building. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I sold it for like $6,000, and that was like my first big sale. Uh, it
Yeah.
was super exciting because like I was making,
It's a
800.
profit. Yeah, it's
I was
profit, right?
I went from like an $800 a week job to you know, selling this
Almost
apartment.
almost 6 grand. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I
Well,
can
it's
do one of
nice
these.
when you start getting some of your investment back, right? That feels good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was like, I can do one
Mhm.
of these buildings a day. It's going to take me 14 days, and like this is out of this world.
Here
So,
we go. Okay. Um, so you're currently where at in Michigan?
so we're in southeastern Michigan, Macomb County, Clinton Township, near Lake St. Clair.
How do they get a hold of you if they want to reach out? Anybody, any customers, potential customers end up watching this?
If they want to give us a call, our vanity number is pretty easy. It's 833 build MI, or they can just go to our website. Actually, going to our website is probably the smoothest and easiest way, just at www.michigangutterman.com and filling out a free quote request. Just type in your name, your phone number, your address. That's going to go straight into our system, and me or someone else is going to call you probably tomorrow or on
There we
Monday
go. There
once we
we
get
go.
back into office.
Yeah, once we get out there, we're gonna get them to agree. Gonna get them to agree. Um,
What are we going to get them to agree to?
whatever it is that they want,
Whatever it is they want. Yeah.
whatever it is they want. The best thing about doing business with people directly that I like on their property is as long as we're real direct and keep it educational. It's Austin, why did you have me come out? You articulate why you had me come out, and either I do or I don't have a solution for you. And there's a couple options above I do, not below I do going towards I don't. That's when I walk, or it's they called me for a roof leak and I'm a gutter guy or something, right? But if they
Correct.
can articulate a water problem that has to do with drainage, meaning from the roof down to the ground or under the ground moving forward, as long as you're educated, you can absolutely create and articulate the boundaries, the parameters of the system, and then get the customer involved and let them help uh, build that system. That way they're getting what it is that they're asking for. Remember, we talked about that a little bit the other night. So
Mm.
I just love that about dealing with people is like, and if they don't know what their problem is, then I can help them figure that out too. But obviously that's different than creating a solution, which is selling the customer. Uh, well, I love your branding, first off, right? So I remember when you first
Hey,
showed
thanks,
that to me, I was
man.
like, yeah, this is blue's my favorite color. And I was gonna wear your shirt, but I was like, man, he gave me the shirt,
Yeah.
man. So you're also a
Yeah.
fisherman. I know a lot of people can equate
Yeah.
to that. I don't
Love,
want to
love
spend,
fishing.
yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but you sent me some smoked salmon.
I did. I
Oh
did
my
bring some
gosh.
smoked
Right.
salmon.
And the ironic part was we got it the day before we got in the plane from Texas to fly to
Oh man,
Michigan.
perfect timing.
It was perfect timing because it really like my situation. I was there with my entire family for the most part, like all my brothers and sisters and their kids. And we just had like it just melts your heart type of weekend. You don't always have those when holidays or family sometimes can be stressful, and it was just an amazing time. So back to the salmon. I bring the salmon. Now my dad is who I equate fishing to because that's who I did my fishing with before I gave it up because I'm too impatient. I break open the salmon. Anyway, I don't know. I'm the oldest of five. My dad, my wife, our kids, other kids. I don't know. There's probably 13, 14, 15 people, my brothers and sisters. Man, I think I got like two pieces of that damn salmon. I was so mad. When I
Uh,
opened it, I literally hovered over it and it didn't matter. I got elbowed out of the way. So you knocked that out of the park. And they loved it because they're all from Michigan. So you're talented in many ways. I've been getting to know you. Tell the audience, how did we meet? Because I don't really even know how we met particularly, or what drew you to reach out to me or whatever.
Yeah, so we're both a part of this Facebook group called Gutter Installers. I don't know the exact number. You might know better than me, Grant. It's probably somewhere around 10,000 gutter installers from all over the world, mostly probably in the US. And
Mm-hmm. We're
we
at like
post a lot of
11,900 or 500 now or
yeah,
something. Like Frank's group, gutter
11,900.
installers, and then that big one is those are two really mammoth groups. So you
Yeah.
we're both
So
on there.
yeah, so that's a really great group, Paramount for me. It's taught me a lot of really great stuff, and just it's so powerful to be able to connect with so many other people who are in the same trade
Right.
and to share wisdom with those people. And we also post a lot of atrocities, like just found in the wild, like crazy
Those are the
stuff that other
best.
people have done. It's like, man, like whoever did that. Wow.
Trying to find them. I
Like
think most of those are obviously, I mean, listen, there's some boys out there that shouldn't be doing gutters, but I think a lot of those, because of my experience level, the 80% of them are things homeowners have done for sure.
yeah.
Those aren't your average, or maybe you're a handyman guy, but a valiant efforts for sure.
The best one I saw was, like a railroad spike, straight through an elbow into the downspout, you know?
Wow. Yeah, yeah. That's just
Uh,
some wild stuff for
yeah,
sure.
just some wild stuff. But yes, we were both in that group. I think that you made a post. I think it was actually your introductory post. Maybe, I'm not sure if maybe I just didn't see you in there previously, but I thought I saw an introductory post and you posted some pictures of some work that you had done and introduced yourself. And just,
They
you
might
said,
have had to been
like,
about when they were their first opening up. I've been on most of those groups for a very long time, but I also reintroduced myself a lot, probably trying to propel myself to this position.
yeah, that might have been what it was because you
Hmm.
had to have been there before I was. But yeah, I think you reintroduced yourself. You posted some pictures of some hand cut miters. And I think I messaged you and I sent you a picture of one of our hand cut miters, and I was like,
Right.
"What do you think, man?" You're like, looks pretty good. You should, implement this. And you're giving me some
Oh
tips
yeah,
here and there.
that's right. I remember that. Okay.
And we were just, just having little brief chit chats now and again, just random stuff, very brief. And then one day, I think it was last year, we were getting a lot of calls. We amped up our marketing quite a bit. We haven't really used Home Advisor, Angie's List, and we've been just getting so many organic leads that I started getting really stressed out.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time dealing with the lead volume. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I still feel like such a rookie. And then I reached out to you and I was like, Grant, I was like, how long have you been doing this? You're like a long time. And I was like, will you be my mentor, man? Like I need some help. I don't know what I'm doing. And then you were like, call me. And then I called you and we talked for like 3 hours and it just kept going from there.
Yeah, it's been fun. What um what do you think you've really worked on the most, like since we've started talking? Now, obviously, we've talked for a long time now, considerably for mentorship. And we've touched on a lot of things, both professionally, personally, right? And we've really just spent some time getting to know each other and becoming friends now, much more than just like some type of coaching. But what do you think, like, where did your focus change over the past, let's just say like 6 months, and especially moving into this year where you are right now?
Previously I just didn't really have a good vision of where we were headed or what I was supposed to do. It was just like we have all this work coming in, but how do I manage it? How do we take care of it in the most efficient way? And
Yeah.
speaking to you and just kind of seeing how you guys do things over at the Brothers That Do Getters, we've implemented not everything. We're still working on that future vision of where we're trying to get to.
Right.
And one thing that was powerful has been just really doing weekly meetings with all the guys and getting together, kind of going through the week together and
Hmm.
holding people accountable for mistakes and also giving praise for the things that went well.
Yeah,
And,
that's huge.
I feel like that's made a really big difference in the company and just getting everyone to take it a little bit more serious and care about everything a little bit more. And,
Hmm. Hmm.
the meetings have really
Absolutely.
been helpful.
Yeah, they just keep everybody on the same page, you know? It's like it's just it's so important to be able to have a certain set time where everybody can voice their opinion. And, obviously, mainly the company can let you know which direction it's heading so that you can keep up with the times. A good company should be evolving. Now, it doesn't mean it should be constant rocket ship where no one can hold on and like you just keep changing the systems on me, boss. But I just mean the growth of it should constantly be progressing so that the company can be more profitable and then it can give its employees raises and keep them and offer careers, not jobs. That's the biggest, thing I try to let people know, especially about gutter growth, what my part is in that. It's to create a career environment without the corporate crap. You know what I mean? Like where people just become numbers and nobody cares about the next person. No one's allowed to know what the other person makes. Like it's all just stuff that people want to get away from. So you got to have that culture. What besides gutters, so you still do some exterior stuff, right?
Yeah, we're getting more into other exterior stuff. I took on a job last year, a second job on top of working my own company,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked for a storm damage company who specialized in insurance work. And working with them was, nothing short of beautiful. Those guys were really intelligent and taught me some really useful information. And there's just been so many since, like, in the past. I mean, I can't even tell you how many houses I had been to where, either a windstorm blew off somebody's gutters or shingles. Um, a lot of that. There was a lot of
Yep.
storm
Yep.
damage that I've witnessed, or like someone's trampoline. It was so windy one day, the trampoline took flight, flew through the air, and smashed into somebody's gutter. I've seen that happen. I've seen trees fall on gutters. I mean, you've seen it all too. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
It's
these were
it's
all things that we, charged the homeowner for, like, out of pocket, and we were just charging, the least amount that we could, and
mm-hmm.
not really implementing the knowledge that I learned over the last year. Whereas now we can do a little bit more to help the homeowners so they don't have to come out of pocket that money.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's been well, of course we had the holidays. Now Michigan has a different temperament than where I'm at, meaning the seasons, right? Because like we just dealt with some 20s for like a week and a half down here, and obviously that's freezing cold to us. And myself being from Michigan, I'm really familiar with it. But this is truly your slow season. I want to make sure that all the stuff we're talking about together. I'm really let's make a deal right now that midsummer, let's start to create your slow season plan because I don't want you to be slow this year. I know you don't want to be either. Neither do your employees. Let's
Yeah.
make a deal that nobody at your company, as best as we can't control everything, has to do any unemployment or anything like that this coming moving forward winter season. Unless you would like, because I know you like to snowboard and stuff like that, you might like to break off, but you also shouldn't have to be there every day, and the company's going to continue to run itself.
Yeah, I think that's really the end goal is to get the company to run itself a little bit more efficiently,
Mm-hmm.
whether we're there or not.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
any business owner's dream is to, just create an environment where everyone knows what they're doing. And of course that's the goal. I still want to be a part of it. I'm
Yeah.
young, but that's definitely somewhere that we want to get to for sure. And I think that that's also a really great goal for next winter because, this winter we are still pretty slow. I'm curious to crunch the numbers here once February is over. I think that we're gonna knock last year out of the park. And it
Good.
seems like every year so far we've doubled our numbers, and we're pretty happy about that. I think 2024 is going to be the best year yet. Even last year we did some jobs throughout the winter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This year, I think we definitely beat last year's winter. I think that next winter, if we keep going at the rate we're going, we should stay pretty busy.
Yeah. You
And
deserve it. You deserve that
and I've
for
been able
your
to keep
company.
at least a couple guys, full time throughout the winter, uh,
Mm-hmm.
last year and also this year. So we're definitely a lot slower, but we're still chucking along.
Yeah, it's brutal out there, man. It's like you almost invite the break. I always um and when I was in Michigan before I left, and when I worked in any other cold places, Boise, for et cetera, like I made sure I worked as efficiently as possible for 9 or 10 months. So it was okay if, we didn't have a lot of work. I loved it when the boss was like, "Oh, why don't you take like a 5 or 6 day weekend?" I was like, "Yes." Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I got money. I could chill, man. I want to sit back and be warm or take a trip or go skiing or do something. Like I don't want to have to work every day.
Yeah, man, that'd be so cool to, eventually offer everybody at the company like a winter vacation and, we all go to
Mm-hmm.
Cancun or next like somewhere just nice for a couple of weeks and not work while Michigan's super snowy. I think that that'd
Absolutely.
also be a really good dream and goal for next winter or one of these following winters. Because I know a
Let's
lot
set
of
up
companies do stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
let's set up
cool
that
to do that
13th
too.
month. Let's set up that 13th month for you so that you can put some of those profits away to create that program of what going to Cancun looks like in the winter. You know what I mean? We're going to get your team involved in that too. So we're going to get them to do some extra things that they already are right in front of. And once they understand how to do those things, you hit the nail on the head. Like just having a company that everybody knows what their function is so that they can do that, right? And then
Mhm.
can start making some good money. You're going to be coming down here soon. You're trying to figure out
Yeah,
if you should hit Vegas. You're like, maybe I'm just going to go from Michigan to Vegas and then come down. I love that because
yeah,
you
we
have
were
a
looking
free
at the
spirit.
flights. Yeah, we were looking at
You
the
have a free
flights.
spirit. You're like, yeah, I'll take the guys to Vegas, then I'll bring them down for some training. I mean,
Yeah.
how many most bosses would be like, straight there. You go straight to training right now. I might not even go. I'm sending you down to some random stranger. And you're like, we should warm up with like a 12-hour Vegas stop real quick before we got to put the hard work in. That's so awesome. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
wasn't
you're good.
necessarily intentional. Like, as soon as you invited us out, we were all thrilled. We're like, go to Texas and hang out with Grant. Like, absolutely.
uh,
Like, what an opportunity. So I started looking at flights, and the only flight, they're not the only one, but the first one that
the
popped
best
up
one. Yeah.
was like, the cheapest one had a 16-hour layover in Vegas. And I was like, oh, well, that's perfect. We'll
That's
hang out in
perfect.
Vegas for the night and, we can have fun
Absolutely.
there. Wake and
Uh-huh.
then fly at like 5 a.m. straight to San Antonio and then
Let's go
land
straight to work.
8 a.m. and go straight to work and stay up all
Uh,
night.
good times. Good times.
But
Yeah, so
I've had problems with some of those flights in the past, and I don't know if it's going to be the right move or not. I think I might just rather pay a couple extra $100 and
let's do
get one
direct.
that's straight through and more secure.
Well, I'm super excited to have you down. Um, my door is definitely open to you. I think you guys are going to come down like a month or something, so that's going to be really cool. Talk to me a little bit about you sat in a gutter growth break. We just did like a little breakout, not our typical meeting, but we had a little gathering of people in the group on just a random night, and you were able to sit through one of those because you're not currently in the gutter growth program. For you guys watching, me and Austin's relationship was before I came a partner in gutter growth. And so he's someone that I've just taken personal interest to, and we spend time together on the phone working on his business. I learn from him, he learns from me, and that's how our relationship's been. But I just thought the other day, like, I knew we were going to have this really powerful just sales chat talking about some certain stuff. We have a gentleman in our group, Chris, a lot of you guys know him, and he was like, I just want to do this, I want to give back. So anyway, I invited you to come on. What'd you think about that?
Hey man, that was just nothing short of an awesome meeting. And it actually made me more interested in potentially joining the gutter growth program. Because, I mean, spending time with you as much as we do is awesome. With gutter growth, it seems like there's even more resources in there
Mm-hmm.
top of just you. So, I got to meet Chris, and Chris ran a sales training program, which I think he has still so much more to offer. And I think he was just scraping the surface with us over the 2 hours that we spent in that meeting. And I want to pick his brain one day because I feel like there's so much more in there still. But he taught us a few basic concepts and tools, and we all got to practice those and use them on each other. And it was some really powerful stuff, really simple but very effective. And
Yes,
and
that's
I realized I was kind of doing a lot of these things naturally, not
mm-hmm.
really knowing that I was doing it. And sometimes I was missing the mark just slightly, you know,
Ooh,
as effective as it could have been because I didn't
yes,
know what I was doing. And as soon as he highlighted what the goal was in the track and what the target looks like that we're supposed to be hitting, I really just clarified everything in my mind. And it was just a slight adjustment that we made. And,
beautiful.
I got to use that actually today. Today I had the first estimate scheduled post that meeting. And
Mm-hmm.
I took everything that we learned in the meeting. I incorporated with everything that I already do, and it just worked so smoothly and so flawlessly. It was one of the smoothest sales I feel like I've ever had so far.
That's
And
amazing.
there was something that Chris said too. At the very end, I asked him a question because he said, "How many people ask for the business?"
Right,
I was
right.
like, I usually ask for the business in the end. And he's like, well, how do you say it? And I was like, like after I give them the price and I tell them everything, I say, I'd really love to do the job. I'm going to treat your house like my own. Can we have your business? And he said, no, don't ask that. He said, because that's a yes or a no question. And he said,
Remember, we're tying them down too.
yeah.
We're tying them down. We can't just leave little knots undone all around, man. They
So
gotta be,
he said instead, he's like, instead, just ask him, when do you want to schedule this?
yeah. You get straight to it.
So we just skip whether they want to do it or not. It's more like, hey, when do you want to get this done?
Part
I
part
just
of that is when you're walking around with them as well too. You absolutely want to say the same. You want to give the same little clues like when we do this job. So a lot of people when I train them in sales, I'll shadow them and I'll see them say things like, if you want to replace that fascia or, if you had thought about maybe be doing the whole house or something versus me, I say when we replace that fascia. That fascia is obviously bad. We're going to be changing that. You seem like a smart person. You wouldn't just put whatever it is. As we're walking around and they've decided
yeah,
that they're using the 4 inch round downspouts and the 7 inch gutter or whatever it is. And I'm saying, yeah, when we get this done in a week or so, we're probably going to put some collector heads right there or something. I think that's what's going to look best for you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Not like if you want to. There's no ifs.
yeah, no ifs, just
No ifs.
this is how we're gonna do it. Wouldn't you
That's
agree
fabulous.
that's the best way?
You
You
wouldn't you agree?
know? Yeah,
Well, that's really cool. That's the whole purpose of gutter growth right
or,
there is for us to grow. We, you said it perfectly. We already have a lot of these traits. We're already doing, some people aren't doing any of them. Some are doing all, you got a good head on your shoulders. You're doing most of them, and you just make these little adjustments, right? You don't have to become this whole new person. And we're not teaching you to be like some pushy salesperson. You're just like you said,
Yeah, exactly.
you know where the bullseye is now. Now it's up to you to hit it. And can you hit it 50, 60% of the time? Because that's the actual goal. That's the close rate you want. You don't want to be selling 70, 80, 90%. I mean, yes, of course, those are fabulous numbers, but raise your price a little bit. That's a whole nother conversation. But if you're tracking your sales, 55, 58, 62, like those are really, really, really good numbers. If you have your per foot price and stuff like that, aligned with all your other numbers that you want and need to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just incorporating those tools was definitely really useful. If I remember right, today, uh, I didn't even bring it up. There's no pushiness or anything. We just kind of covered everything. We made sure we do exactly what the customer
Mm-hmm.
wanted. We kept affirming that we were going to do all that. And then they actually asked me like, well, what's your schedule look like? What do you have open? And then we opened up the schedule. We're like, next opening we got it's the 19th. And they're like, oh yeah, that's perfect. And I'm like, all right, I got you saved.
Let's go. That's where you
Yeah,
put the money right here.
yeah.
Well, good
So
job. Great job implementing. Great job caring. Um, you know,
and
great
there's been so
job.
many times too that like, a customer might ask me, what's your schedule look like? How far out are you? And I tell them like, oh, we're 1 to 2 weeks out or 3 to 4 weeks out. And I never took that cue to just open the schedule and be like, let's get you on it. You know,
Right now.
as soon as they'd mention the schedule or how far out are you, you pull up that schedule, let's get you on it. You know,
Let's get you on it right
that's your cue
now.
that they want to move forward. And
Mm-hmm.
there were so many times I ignored that cue and I probably missed a lot of sales because of that.
Preach. Preach, Austin. Tell me some more. Coach me.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, it's good.
Yeah.
This is so good. So, we'll see you in the gutter growth group soon. I know we will. We already had that conversation privately. I'm really excited to have you in there. I think it's going to be fantastic to watch you give back as well, because the giving back part, I want to correlate something here. Gutter growth podcast. So, my quick little lesson I want everyone listening, including yourself, to incorporate is that when you're growing, you have to have this direction, right? You have to have that direction. And remember when we did your vision?
I do.
Like, how long did it take for you to really hone in and create that direction that you wanted so that you knew where the bullseye was for your business?
It took me a little while after you had first given me the homework to do the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I guess you know, um, I always want like the highest or the best path to manifest, and sometimes I feel like I don't even know what path that is, and I just try to stay open to my resources and
Mm-hmm.
create the path as I go. But once we did it, and we started, bringing that vision to life, a lot more doors opened up pretty much immediately. So,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
someone like me, maybe it was a little bit difficult to do that, but once I did it, it was definitely well worth it because, like I said, it opened a lot of useful doors for me.
Want you to keep having that direction, with each individual part of your business, like every one of those hats that you want to take off, you're wearing a lot still right now. You just need to find out where the bullseye is in sales, where the bullseye is in your first, assistant manager, where the bullseye is, I think you've got it with your branding, where the bullseye is with your SEO company, right? You're figuring that out. Um, where the bullseye is with making sure you give back to the community,
Hmm.
all those things. Uh, Hey, shout out to one of our first conversations, right? Remember when we had you put those massive signs up the poles?
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, I knew I was gonna like you. Because remember I told you I'd had that same situation happen to me.
yeah. You did tell me that. So
It's like we do what we got, we do what we do. And I knew what the time was then. It was the bullseye, right? That was the bullseye. I was like, I'm gonna put them up high enough where everybody can see them and they can't get them down till the freaking city calls.
yeah, I almost wish I could pull up the picture of exactly, 'cause I got a bunch of pictures of the ones that we
Oh
hung
my
up.
God.
But yeah, I think that really actually came out of fear of just not getting enough business for the year or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
purchasing new gutter machines and expensive trucks, and moving into an office with rent that's more expensive. And I was like, well, we have a lot more bills to pay. We got to do something about it. So,
Yeah.
I started climbing telephone poles and sticking big yard signs into them with our company name and logos and phone number and stuff. And we got a lot of business from it. Was it the best or most ethical thing to do? Probably not. Is it something I'm going to continue to do? Probably not. The city that we were mostly doing it in, they called us and they were pretty upset about it. They were like, these big yard signs are 20 feet in the air and we can't get them down. And how dare you? And you're going to get a fine.
I
And,
loved it.
we went and removed a lot of those signs pretty quickly. We left
Yeah.
them there for a little bit, but we ended up getting most of them down, and the city was happy once they came down.
I think it was a fabulous publicity
Yeah.
stunt.
So it worked though. We did get a lot of business. I mean, we had to have got hundreds of leads from it. So yeah,
You just literally attached yourself to the city pole. I mean, I think it's epic, man. It just goes to show how determined you are. I've got to learn that about you while we built
yeah.
this relationship. So
The
I'm
original
excited.
plan was actually even grander, and I'm glad we didn't push it as far as what I was thinking we were going to do. Because
I'm all ears.
like I still have a back room with hundreds more of these signs. We were going to do a lot more of them than we did. We also, I don't know if you're familiar with
Uh,
the city that I live in, Sterling Heights,
of course.
but are you familiar with that big golden ring that they put right in the
Yes.
center? So like
Yes.
everybody makes fun of that ring, and everyone thinks it was like a really stupid investment or whatever, and they call it certain names that whatever.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
we were going to do is we were going to get a giant Michigan Gutterman logo, and the
Oh my
night after
goodness.
we put hundreds, because we were hanging the yard signs at nighttime at 3 in the morning. We're climbing these poles and screwing them in. So when people wake up in the morning, that's all they see. It's everywhere. And at the same time, we were going to get a giant Michigan gutter man. We were going to do like 300 signs all in one night, and then put the giant Michigan gutter man inside the golden ring.
Oh
And
my gosh.
that would have definitely made the news. And
That would have been so good.
yeah, that'd been pretty epic, but might have gotten more trouble if we did that.
I got a guy in Michigan. I don't want to say his name, but I've talked to you about him. And I was just thinking the other night, we were talking about something and it sparked it. But when I come up and I do his radio bit, I want you to join me on there. I think that would be fabulous. And it should be decent for your advertising as well, too. He's got one of the number one, um, I don't know if the right term would be home improvement, but he is absolutely a home improvement expert. And he's got a really big talk show that he invited me to be on, and I think that would be a great connection for you as well. Let's get ready to wrap this up here. I want to ask you one more question. So, like, what's your biggest goal for this year? What do you think that, like, put you on the spot? Like, what do you think is going to be the hardest?
You know,
Or do you just feel confident? Like you've got a good team around you. You've got, you know, you've got us, our support as well. So
right now I feel like there's just a mountain. We have to move a mountain. we have a lot of work to do internally with hiring the right people and
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding the dream team that we really need to make what's coming next happen. And, just to make it simple, the goal this year, our company's never done $1 million in a year yet.
You're
And,
so close.
this last year we did 700,000. And it seems like every year for the last few years now, we've doubled our numbers. And I feel it. I think that this is going to be the year that we make that million plus. And I know it's going to happen. I know how
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
you already
we
know
have
how
all the
it's
right
gonna taste, man.
resources
Yep.
and we have everything we need to make it happen, besides a few people, which are on their way right now. And
Yes, they are.
so it's going to work out how it's supposed to. We're coming to see you in Texas next month. And I think, that's going to be really useful as well. And I'm nothing but excited for this year. So let's go.
Let's go. Austin, I'm super, super proud of you, brother. And I can't wait to see you. Thanks for joining me on our Gutter Growth podcast. I'm really excited for you to meet Tim too when the time's right. And you are right. You have the right people around you, and you have a winning team, and you have a winning spirit. And thank you for sharing with me this evening.
Hey, thanks so much for having me again, Grant. It was a pleasure. And I look forward to talking to you again here soon and joining the gutter growth.
Anytime, anytime. Later, brother.
Later, bro.